Greetings, North Cobb Christian School family. Hard to believe we're in the first official week of summer. Hope your summer's off to a great start. Hope you get a great change of pace as the summer goes along. Just wanted to give you a couple of updates. We are in our first week of summer camp, and I know there's lots of questions in the student body and the parent body about the school year coming up in the fall. And just want to kind of give you some information about how things are unfolding in the state of Georgia. Governor Kemp did a great job a couple weeks ago putting out what he called the guidelines for summer camp, and there were a couple dozen of those, and our task force here at the school met and worked diligently to make sure we were able to comply with all of the governor's guidelines for summer camps, and our summer camps are open. This is kind of a light week this week, a great test run for next week, which will be a more full week of camp, the week of June 1st. And we are excited about offering summer camps because we know kids are looking for opportunities outside the home after this time of being in the house to get out and participate in academics and athletics and fine arts and driver's ed and those kind of things. And so we also view summer camp as a great dress rehearsal for the school year, as we are incorporating some protocols that will more than likely be a part of life when school resumes in August. We know in talking to the governor's office that there will also be guidelines that he will put out that will be guidelines to safely reopen schools in the fall, and that should come out in the next couple weeks. And so when that happens, our task force, which continues to meet every week, will look at those guidelines very carefully and begin to plan how to open school in accordance with those guidelines, just like we have done so with summer camps. In addition to all of that, Georgia High School Association, GHSA, is giving the opportunity for summer workouts to begin on June the 8th. So we're also looking through the Georgia High School Association guidelines and preparing to bring our athletes back on campus June 8th to prepare for workouts for their given sport this upcoming season. So I did want to draw your particular attention to, I talked to a lot of people and everyone has a thought and an opinion, and lots of experts out there. The CDC has lots of recommendations, and some of those recommendations are very, very important, and a lot of those find themselves in the governor's guidelines. But we are committed to following the guidelines that the state of Georgia puts out for summer camps. We've implemented those, and we're going to follow the governor's guidelines for reopening schools. So that's going to be the authority of what we're following as we look to reopen school in the fall. So just wanted to delineate the CDC recommendations and the governor of Georgia's guidelines. Obviously, the governor creates his guidelines with CDC recommendations in play, but the governor's guidelines are what we're going by for summer camps and what the GHSA is going by for athletics and what we're going to follow for reopening school. The governor has also established some working groups that are working very diligently this summer, again with reopening school in mind. Those 6 areas are food service, distance learning, internet access and computers, mental health, supplemental learning, facilities, and busing. And obviously, not every one of these applies to North Cobb Christian School the same way as it does a large countywide district. But for the areas that do apply, we will certainly be looking at those various areas. Now, all 6 of these committees are going to basically inform the governor's guidelines for reopening schools. So again, I'm going to draw everyone back to those guidelines that will come out in a few weeks, just like they came out a few weeks ago for summer camps. So as we wade through the unknowns, as I've shared with you in previous videos, our mentality is to start school 100% in the fall, like we normally do, August the 7th for our little guys, August the 10th for our older students, and that is what we're game planning toward at this time. I can encourage you as parents and students with some knowns. I would encourage you that prayer is always appreciated. I've gotten so many positive and encouraging emails over the weeks, just folks want to be an encouragement. All of us can pray for wisdom and discernment as we wade through all the information and all the directives that we can make sure we make great planning and decision making for our students when school resumes. I also want to, number 2, ask you to keep in mind that safety is always at the forefront of our attention. So certainly as we go through all the guidelines and protocols, we're thinking about the safety and well-being of not only our students, but also our staff. And we've already initiated, I'll just give you not an extensive list, that will come later in the summer, but just as an example, this summer we will complete a project to make sure all of our restrooms, whether it's urinals or commodes or sinks or paper towel dispensers or soap dispensers, are all touch-free. And there's a lot of other examples I can give you as the summer unfolds. That's just one example of things that we're doing this summer to prepare for the new school year. And so, again, I think the summer camp is a great dress rehearsal. We're taking the temperature of all of our campers as they come in, all of our staff. And these are all things that we're learning about so that we can prepare for a larger population when school resumes in the fall. Number three area, number one being prayer, number two being safety, number three being learning. We're looking about the virtual learning scenario that we found ourselves in for second semester. Appreciate all the parents that were able to complete the survey, provided us valuable feedback. Every comment on those surveys is being weighed by the academic team as we look at all the different pieces of feedback from folks to make sure we can make any tweaks that we feel are necessary as we look to the fall. We hope not to have to have a lot of that involved in the fall, but there may be folks that choose to stay home on their own because of whatever reason, and so we're going to continue to look at those virtual opportunities and feedback to make sure that we can make that the best situation for everybody. I will say this, I just want to pause and give a shout out to our teachers. The vast majority of the feedback from our parents has been very encouraging and uplifting, and there's a lot of work for our teachers, and I think most of our community took great pride in what our teachers were able to put forward, and just know how hard they worked, and I think above and beyond to provide the best virtual experience possible. Certainly not perfect. Every kid learns differently, so it's not the same for every child, but just major kudos to the faculty and staff for what they were able to pull together for finishing up this spring semester. And I think with the feedback you've provided, we're a smart group of people, so we have our own self-awareness on what we can do differently. Professional development is going on to help teachers even more so. We're bringing tools to bear, whether it's a software platform or whether it's cameras in the classroom or whatever the case may be, to even do a better job with education in the future. And this is beyond COVID. I mean, this could be a new opportunity for kids that are homesick to be able to have their videotape lessons more readily available as we move forward. Or what if a child is in class and they just need to hear the calculus problem one more time to make sure they really understand it? So some of these things that are going to help us navigate COVID are going to end up being positive things that we're going to be able to have beyond COVID to really just help a struggling learner or a learner that wants some reinforcement or someone that's homesick or on a long-term mission trip. So those are going to be positive byproducts, as well as all the tools that our teachers now have in their toolbox by going into this online mode, that they're so much more well equipped on how to use various tools as part of their pedagogy. So the learning is the third area, and then family. I think that what a testament to the family atmosphere that our school is, as I saw so much on social media, so many conversations, drive-through, picking up your supplies and yearbook and graduations, and just the feeling of community that just defines North Cobb Christian School was so evident. And that's ironic because we weren't physically together, but yet the sense of family came through so strong during this time. And so just know that whatever the future holds, we're committed to that being a key part of our culture. We know that when we ask people over a period of decades about North Cobb Christian School, family is what you always hear, and it's a huge part of our culture, and we can work to accomplish that whether we're here or whether we're not in the future. And so I think also an important thing is to continue to provide your feedback. So whether it's Mrs. Titus in the lower school, Mr. Konchak in the middle school, Mrs. Strange in the upper school, Amber Holly for our Moving Forward program. Just as the summer unfolds, as you have questions or concerns, please reach out to your principals and make sure that you ask your questions and receive their feedback. And as I've said in previous videos, we're going to continue to provide you with information as the summer unfolds. And again, as the governor's guidelines for reopening schools come out, we're going to be a lot more focused on exactly what we're going to have to do and need to do for the fall. So please look forward to those tidbits as they come out toward the end of June and probably more than likely the first half of July. So God bless. We'd love to see you on campus. I see more and more students coming up to be a part of our camp program, and certainly as the student athletes return to campus beginning on June 8th. After all, that's why we're here. That's who we are as a people, is to interact with each other and to visit with one another and catch up on what's going on in each other's lives. And so we look forward to those pieces of normalcy returning to North Cobb Christian School's campus. God bless, and just appreciate each one of you during this time. Take care.